This is an addendum to a video I did about Terry and our trip to Phoenix with Mensa group when we went to Mensa Regional Gathering in Phoenix. And I told you about the most of the story, but one of the pieces about being at the regional gathering was they had different they had different programs and stuff. Some were really good, some were like they're okay, but they actually had me join in on like this panel of basically liars. So there was, I think, four of us, three of us, four of us on this panel, and then it was like I remember some woman saying, it's like, well, there's all these guys up there and then there's you. It's like, and it's like almost like a woman's not gonna lie. So anyway, we would they set it up in advance, as like we talked about the different things we're going to talk about, and one of us would be telling the truth, and one in the other two or three would be lying about it. They'd make up some story or something. So they give us these different scenarios, and I don't remember any of the other scenarios except the one that I'm going to talk about. But it's like, sometimes I would be most of the time I would be lying, and and then at the end people would vote on, like, it's like in the audience and stuff, it's like who is lying, and so who is telling the truth and who's actually telling the truth. But the one thing I got some piece of advice from one of I think Terry, my boyfriend Terry, was on the panel, and a guy named Steve Loeb, who was an attorney, really sharp guy. Miss seeing him. I think he's passed away. But he was, he told me, he says one of the things you can do about, when people, if you're telling the truth, you want people to think you're lying, is you kind of like laugh a little bit, just like when you're first starting or something, like you're about ready to fib. That's what he told me. But so it's like took kind of the piece of advice. So the one scenario where I was actually telling the truth was the story about the water pump that had to be changed in my car. We brought the water pump, we bought the part, and we brought it all the way out there. We were going to maybe fix it in Phoenix, but we had the water pump. So it's like we had this, the water pump there, and then different people were saying, it's like, well, this is this thing, whatever it was, and then the next person would say this, and then I was going to tell the truth about it. I said, it's like, this is the water pump for my car, because I don't think most people knew I was going to, change the water pump there. So it's like, yeah, this is a water pump that I'm going to put in my car, in a new water pump that I'm going to put in my car, and then pass it on to the next person. And then they lied about it, and then the voting came out, and I don't remember how people voted, but it's like I think most people thought I was lying. Came out to where most people thought it's like really, it's your water pump. So I thought that was just an interesting story about the water pump, and I wanted to add that.